There was a man in Florida who walked into his doctor's office last spring with no symptoms. None. He felt fine. His blood pressure was a little high, but he had been told that for years. The doctor ran a routine blood panel and called him 3 days later with a single sentence that ended his weekend. His kidneys were already at 58% function, stage 3 chronic kidney disease. He was 46. He was not diabetic, he was not on dialysis, and he had never in his entire life been warned about the one thing that put him there. Sugar. Not the sugar in the candy aisle, the sugar hiding in his morning yogurt, his pasta sauce, his protein bar, his cold-pressed juice that the label called clean. The sugar that his kidneys had been quietly filtering day after day for almost 3 decades until they could not keep up anymore. Here's what most people will never hear from their doctor. The earliest signs of kidney damage from sugar appear long before any blood test catches them, long before the protein shows up in your urine, long before the swelling, the fatigue, the back pain that gets dismissed as a pulled muscle. By the time the lab results turn red, half the work is already done. But there is something else nobody talks about. The same kidneys that take years to break can begin to recover in less than a month. Not fully, not always, but measurably. There are studies, real ones from real journals, that show what happens inside your body when you stop feeding it the thing that has been wearing it down. Today, I am going to walk you through it, hour by hour for the first 3 days, then day by day, all the way to 30. Every chemical shift, every structural change, every moment your kidneys start to come back. This is what 30 days without sugar actually does to the 2 organs you cannot live without. A quick note before we go further. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. Everything here has been verified against peer-reviewed research, and all of the source links are listed in the description below. If you have an existing kidney condition, or you are on medication for blood pressure, diabetes, or anything else, please talk to your doctor before changing your diet.
With that said, let us look at why the kidneys are the organ most affected by sugar in your diet and why almost nobody knows it. Your 2 kidneys are smaller than your fist. Together, they filter about 180 liters of blood every single day. Inside each one, there are roughly 1 million tiny filters called glomeruli. These filters are made of incredibly fine blood vessels, finer than a human hair, arranged in a tight loop. When sugar passes through these vessels, especially fructose, it does something that glucose does not do. Fructose is processed almost entirely in 2 organs, the liver and the kidneys. When you drink a soda or eat a pastry, about half of the sugar in it is fructose. That fructose travels straight to the proximal tubules of your kidneys, where it is broken down by an enzyme called fructokinase. The byproduct of that breakdown is uric acid. Uric acid is the molecule that does the damage. Researchers at the University of Colorado, led by Dr. Richard Johnson and Dr. Miguel Lanaspa, have published more than a decade of research showing that uric acid produced inside kidney cells acts as a pro-oxidant. It generates oxidative stress, it triggers inflammation, it damages the lining of your renal tubules from the inside. The more sugar you eat, the more uric acid your kidneys are forced to deal with. This is the mechanism your doctor probably never mentioned, and it is the one that 30 days without sugar can reverse. Now, let us watch it happen. Hour 1. Within 60 minutes of your last sugary drink or last sweet bite, your blood sugar starts to drop toward a normal range. Your pancreas, which has been releasing insulin in waves all day, begins to slow down. The blood flow inside your kidneys, which had been pushed up to handle the sugar load, starts to ease. The first thing your kidneys feel is pressure relief. Hour 3. By the 3rd hour, the fructose from your last meal has cleared the bloodstream.
The fructokinase enzymes inside your proximal tubules, which had been working hard to break that fructose down, slow their activity. The production of new uric acid, the molecule that causes the damage, starts to fall. Hour 6. 6 hours in, you are likely to feel the first cravings. This is not a kidney problem. This is your brain reacting to the missing dopamine spike it has been getting from sugar. Your kidneys are doing fine, better than fine actually, because for the first time in years, no new uric acid is being generated by fructose metabolism. Your tubular cells are getting their first real rest of the day. Hour 12. By hour 12, something else happens. Your liver begins to release its stored sugar in the form of glucose, not fructose. This is exactly what your kidneys want. Glucose is filtered through the glomeruli and reabsorbed in the tubules without producing the same uric acid byproduct. The metabolic stress on the kidneys drops sharply during this window. This is also when the first headache often hits. Push through it. Drink water. Hour 18. Around hour 18, your insulin level is at its lowest point in months. Your blood sugar is stable. The constant low-grade demand on your kidneys to filter excess glucose has stopped. If you are someone who used to wake up at night to urinate, tonight might be the first night you sleep through.
Hour 24. 24 hours in, your kidneys have processed about 180 liters of blood. Without the constant stream of fructose, without the spikes of insulin, without the pressure surges from sodium retention, the chemical environment inside your kidney's renal tubules has shifted. The cells lining those tubules are no longer under daily attack. None of this is visible, none of it is felt, but it is the first day in a very long time that your kidneys have spent without ongoing damage. Hour 36. By hour 36, you are deep into the worst of the cravings and the irritability. This is the metabolic shift, not your kidneys protesting. What is happening inside the kidneys is the opposite of suffering. The 2009 paper by Cirillo, Johnson, and Saughton, published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, showed that fructose given directly to human proximal tubular cells caused those cells to release pro-inflammatory chemical signals within hours. Take the fructose away, and that signal stops. Within a day and a half of clean conditions, the inflammatory cascade in your tubules begins to wind down. Hour 48. 2 full days in, your serum uric acid level has measurably dropped. A 2013 study in healthy human subjects, published in the journal Diabetes, showed that fructose loading causes uric acid to climb within hours and reduces the kidney's ability to excrete it. The reverse takes a couple of days. By hour 48, your kidneys are not only producing less uric acid, they are excreting the existing uric acid more efficiently. The total uric acid burden on the renal tubules drops on both sides. Hour 60. Around hour 60, your blood pressure usually starts to come down. The link between sugar and blood pressure works through your kidneys. Fructose increases sodium absorption in the proximal tubules. More retained sodium means more retained water. More retained water means higher blood volume pushing through your filters. 2.5 days without fructose lets that chain unwind. Your average blood pressure may have dropped by several points without any medication change. Hour 72. 3 full days. You will probably still feel terrible. The cravings are still there, the headaches are tapering, but inside your body, the war is over. The 2014 study, published in PLOS1, showed that uric acid promotes apoptosis, which is programmed cell death in human proximal tubule cells through a pathway involving NADPH oxidase. With your uric acid down for 3 straight days, that signal weakens. Fewer kidney cells are being pushed into self-destruction. Behind the discomfort, your kidneys are doing something they have not done in a long time. They are resting. They are resetting. They are starting the slow climb back. After 72 hours, the changes happen on slower timescales. Cells regenerate over weeks, not hours. So we shift from hour by hour to day by day. The mechanisms are still moving every day. They just take longer to add up to something measurable. Around day 4, the cravings begin to fade. Your taste buds, which have been calibrated by years of high-sugar food, start to reset. A plain apple tastes sweet again. This is not in your head. It is your tongue rebuilding its sensitivity. More importantly, your kidneys are now operating in a different chemical environment. The constant background stream of glucose and fructose has stopped. The advanced glycation end products, often shortened to AGEs, are no longer being produced at the same rate. AGEs are sticky molecules that form when sugar binds permanently to protein. Once they form, they cross-link the collagen in your blood vessels, including the tiny ones inside your kidneys.
Multiple peer-reviewed studies, including a review published in the journal Nutrients in 2022, have shown that AGE accumulation in the kidneys leads to thickening of the basement membrane, stiffening of the glomerular capillaries, and progressive loss of filtration. When you stop eating sugar, you stop adding new AGEs to the system. The damage already there does not disappear, but the rate of new damage drops sharply. By day 7, your blood pressure improvements from hour 60 have stabilized at a lower set point. Your fasting blood sugar is in a healthier range. Your kidneys are filtering at a healthier pressure. Around day 10, the chronic low-grade inflammation that had been simmering in your kidney tissue is at its lowest point in years. Inflammatory markers in the blood, like C-reactive protein, often begin to drop measurably during this window. By the second week, the changes are no longer just chemical, they are structural. Your insulin sensitivity has been climbing for 10 days. The pancreas is no longer flooding your bloodstream with insulin every few hours. This matters for the kidneys because insulin, when it stays elevated for too long, is itself a driver of kidney damage. It promotes thickening of the basement membrane. It encourages scarring in the small blood vessels. When insulin levels normalize, this process slows.
Around day 14, your liver enters a new phase. The fat that has been sitting around it begins to break down at a faster rate. This matters more than most people realize because the liver and the kidneys share a metabolic relationship most doctors never discuss. Researchers at the University of Colorado discovered that when your blood sugar stays high for years, your body activates something called the polyol pathway. This pathway converts the extra glucose into sorbitol and then into fructose right inside your own organs. Your liver and kidneys begin producing fructose internally, even if you have not eaten any. This internally produced fructose is just as damaging as the kind you drink in soda. When your blood sugar stays low for 2 weeks, the polyol pathway starts to switch off. Your body's internal fructose factory powers down. The endogenous fructose load on your kidneys drops sharply. This is why the second week of a sugar-free month often feels like a turning point. By day 18, you will likely notice physical changes. Less puffiness in your face when you wake up, less swelling in your ankles by the end of the day. Your urine, which had been pale and frequent, often becomes a more consistent yellow as your kidneys regain better control over fluid balance. Around day 20, the 2008 NHANES analysis, published in PLOS1, becomes relevant. That study found that adults consuming 2 or more sugary drinks per day had 40% higher odds of microalbuminuria. The reverse is also worth knowing. When the sugar drops out of the diet, the urinary albumin tends to drop with it. The final 10 days are when the slower, deeper repairs begin. Your kidneys do not heal the way a cut on your hand heals. There is no scab, no visible scar that fades.
but the cells that line your renal tubules, the ones that take the brunt of the damage when uric acid is high, can regenerate. These cells turn over on a cycle of about 3 to 4 weeks, and by day 21, you have given them an entire cycle of clean conditions to grow back into. By day 25, the estimated GFR, which is the number that tells you how well your filters are working, can begin to climb if you are still in the early stages of damage. It is small, it is real, and it has happened in less than 4 weeks. There is a major clinical study worth knowing about. In 2020, researchers published a paper in Curious that followed 71 obese patients through a 12-week weight management program. 3/4 of them, 76% to be exact, improved their chronic kidney disease stage. The average improvement in GFR was nearly 8 units, with a p-value of 0.0006, which, in research terms, means the result was almost certainly not chance. The mechanism, the researchers suggested, was the same one we have been talking about. Less metabolic stress, less inflammation, better insulin signaling. The kidneys, given the right conditions, do some of the work themselves. By day 30, the man from the start of this video, the one who was at 58% kidney function, would not have his kidneys back to 100%. Stage 3 damage does not undo itself in a month. But his progression would have slowed. His next blood test would, in all likelihood, be better than the last. His filtering rate would no longer be sliding in the wrong direction.
And that, when it comes to the kidneys, is the entire game. 3 things matter if you take any of this seriously. The first is that the sugar that hurts your kidneys is not always the sugar you can taste. The dangerous one is fructose, and fructose hides in places labeled healthy. Honey is about half fructose. Agave nectar is mostly fructose. Fruit juice, even the freshly squeezed kind, delivers a fructose load without the fiber that slows it down. Whole fruit is different. The fiber in an apple changes the speed at which the sugar reaches your liver and kidneys. A glass of apple juice does not. If you are reading a label and you see anything ending in OSE, or you see high fructose corn syrup, or fruit concentrate, or honey, or agave, that product is acting like sugar inside your kidneys. The second is that water matters more than people think. Your kidneys filter your entire blood volume about 30 times a day, and they do that work better when you are well hydrated. Most studies point to 1 to 2 liters a day for adults with healthy kidney function, but more is not always better. If you have any existing kidney condition, more water can be a problem, not a solution. Talk to your doctor before you change anything.
The third is that 30 days is not a finish line, it is a starting block. The improvements your kidneys make in the first month are real, but they are also fragile. Go back to 2 sodas a day on day 31 and the inflammation comes back, the uric acid climbs, and the filters take the hit again. The benefits compound only if the change becomes a habit. If this was useful, the best thing you can do is share it with someone over 40 who has been told their numbers are borderline. Most kidney damage is silent until it is severe. The information in this video could be the only warning they get. Take care of your filters. They are the only ones you have.